Should people think about buying today or buy in a year or two? This is a question that, neither Mike nor Cara are experts in or financial advisors, so they can't really answer that from that perspective. But I think it's an important question to ask because it's literally anybody who's thinking about getting into the housing market is like, should I go now or should I wait? And I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on like how you balance those two things.
I had to make that decision a couple of years ago when I bought my home. And I think that what I did was I looked at like, can I afford this home right now? Is it somewhere I can stay in the long term, even if prices don't go up? Especially if you're buying a freehold home, a townhouse, a semi-detached, a detached, like when I'm looking at in Toronto or the GTA or any of these places that have really gone up in recent years and are seeing massive amounts of population growth, I just don't see a situation where it's going to be worth less than it currently is in like 10 years or so. And so when I think about that and the cost of me buying it and building the equity over that time instead of paying the rent and having that stability, to me, that was worth it. But I really think you have to consider that home prices hopefully won't see the same kind of gains that they'd seen in the last 20 years. And so you just have to, as soon as you see a house that you like, that you're happy in, that you think you could spend a long time in, I think that's when it makes sense to buy.
Trying to time the market is kind of a fool's game. So I kind of agree with Cara. Like if you find something you like and you can afford it, I wouldn't gamble. Just take it.
I'd be very careful over leveraging yourself. That's one thing we've seen over the last few years of people worrying it's going to go out of reach and putting, 5% down on something. So they end up with huge mortgages. And I think that one thing to consider is if Mike is wrong and there's actually a decrease in prices, if we see a crash at some point, can you afford to keep living in your home? So I would say that make sure that if you do find somewhere you love, that you can actually weather any storms for a while.